Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. I am your host.
Shooty shoots, and welcome to We the Thunder Halloween edition, if you couldn't tell. And with me today, we have
Any questions?
With me is the Professor of Bacon tonight. And we're here to talk Lightning Hockey and celebrate a little bit of Halloween. I'm going to have to take this mask off.
Listen, I was just...
Wow, that's scarier.
I was just watching...
It
I was
is.
just watching Monday Night Football with Eli and Peyton, and Eli started out the show also with a mask, and he lasted all of about 5 minutes. So I give him way more props than you. Eli's better than you. He also had a mask of Chad Powers, so he was basically going super meta. He was a meta of himself. So yeah, I can't believe you didn't even make it 5 seconds into the show with your mask on. No dedication to the craft whatsoever. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, I biked around my entire neighborhood trick-or-treating. Again, only one on the show. I actually had to go trick-or-treating with the kids today. And yeah, I did the thing, and I'm here, and I'm ready to go.
Well, aren't you special?
No,
Mr. Stash is special with his David S. Pumpkins biking around the neighborhood. Well, do you have candy to eat throughout the show?
I've already eaten too much candy. This is my candy tonight.
I've got a stash here to keep myself going for this show. We've got a week of Lightning Hockey where they went 2-1 to talk about. We've got a brand new shooter game. It's about to get scary at this shooter game. And we've got the results from the weekly challenge.
You guys keep your eyes on Bob Ross back here, okay?
If he moves to that other couch without you moving, I'm going to be completely freaked out. And it will be on video. All right, so we're going to munch on your candy. I hope you guys are munching on your candy. Hey, in between the munching, hit the like button, hit the share button. Let's get some more people in here as you guys get that candy coma going before you pass out for the night. But yeah, we got a shooter game. We've got a week to review of Lightning Hockey, and it wasn't a bad week at all. By the way, we've also got some music in the background that you'll notice fading in and out throughout the show. It might get annoying. It might be fun. Nobody knows.
The production level on the show just keeps getting higher and fucking higher. I mean,
and then when this sound happens, we just break out into dance.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Every once in a while.
How long until we get muted?
Oh yeah, this show is going to be partially muted throughout for anyone that is not watching live. And by the way, if you're out there, the growing group of
Can't hear you, shooter.
You didn't hear me at all?
No, the sound effects have taken over.
They already muted shooter.
It's going to be that kind of show. It's going to be that kind of show. So, and by the way, especially for the game tonight, if anyone out there is listening to the podcast version of this, go find it on YouTube and watch the replay so you can see our zany outfits and play the game as well. All right, so Bolts go 2-1 this past week. Do you want to just go right down the list of LA Kings L first?
Yeah, and first of all, Mandingo, thanks for coming in hot in the chat and throwing me under the bus by not wishing a happy birthday. I have a strict policy on Shooter social media. I wish nobody happy birthday. That way, if I miss somebody, then it's fair for everybody. So, I'm
what I
monster.
think about that
I
policy.
apologize, but happy birthday, Steve. Belated. This one's for you.
Yeah,
Please don't take me off the list. Please don't take me off the list. Keep me on the list, please.
I barely say happy birthday to anyone, but of course,
I'm the worst
for Steve. I owe that guy. LA Kings.
Sure.
Last Tuesday, one night after we last met, the LA Kings had the Bolts visit them, and like we've seen several games this season, the Lightning got a penalty in the first 2 minutes of the game, of course, because we have to do that. We have to go shorthanded to just get into the flow of the game. LA's first goal was called a no goal at first, and then it was replayed and called a goal. It kind of looked like Vasi had a man pushed on top of him, and he did have a man pushed on top of him, but it was the other guy, Denault, who ended up scoring. They gave it to LA, and then from there it was a game of catch up the rest of the time, where the Bolts just couldn't eventually catch up. And LA got, the one thing I noticed about this game is LA got super physical towards the end of this game, and that's how they closed us out. We just couldn't get anything going. We actually watched it together. We had a impromptu virtual watch party, so if anyone doesn't follow us on social media, make sure you do, so you can partake in our virtual madness, where we also sometimes wear costumes, just not intentionally. All right, someone else talk about this game while I eat some candy.
I mean, one of the bright spots starting on that road trip was Hagel scoring, and he played really well. He's really starting to fit in with that top line. I saw an interview with him a week and a half ago, basically, I don't know, about a week into the season, I guess. And he was talking about how he just kind of wanted to let Point and Kucherov do their thing. And I think that now that he's kind of seen what their thing is, he's starting to start his game into there. And that's really distracting. So the background music's really distracting. But anyways, he's been able to adapt his game now. We've seen it flow, and that top line has gotten to get together, as you saw later in the series during this road trip. That line just kept getting better and better, as well as the second line. That Stamkos, Killer, and Paul line. I think you've seen those top two lines really start to gel and cement themselves. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this with the background music, dude.
I can't even hear the background music.
Really?
Yeah, and Shooter
is so loud for me.
And Shooter is on mute, so you shouldn't be able to hear it.
Yeah, it's quite loud for me. So, that's weird.
Oh, Shooter went out now.
And I can still hear it. You can't hear it at all?
No.
The production level on the show just gets better and better. I say it all the time. See, they can't hear either. So I'll tell you what, when Shooter comes back in, I'll just leave and come back in. I'll show you that right now.
Oh, there he goes. So now we're Stash coming back in. Oh. Yeah, I got to hear it there for a minute, so I'm going to talk while them two are trying to reset all that stuff. So I would say that going into that, we talked about it the last show. It must be something playing on the back of your Stash, because now I'm hearing it. But I don't hear you.
I don't have anything else.
Oh, there you go.
I don't have it. So weird. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, I don't. I can hear it now.
Nothing else. I have nothing else.
Running in the background?
Running in the background.
That's weird. So we talked about in the last show, we talked about Hagel working with Kane and Taze over in Chicago, and that we thought he would do it good here once he realized who he's playing with, and they were able to get each other all together. and I think he's finally realized what he's got in Point and Cooch.
This is killing me right now. I don't understand. Yeah, see, where is it coming from? Because it's not. I'm not playing it. Shooter's no longer on the feed at all. He's not even in the green room here. When I leave, I don't hear it at all. Yeah.
No, and when you left, I couldn't hear it.
Right. All right, let's try one more time. What happened?
Oh, now I still hear it. There's Shooter. Shooter, do you have it where there's some music playing in the background?
Yes.
That's what it is. Even when you're gone, it's still playing and it's driving Stash.
Yeah.
It's on like volume 2. I don't even know
For
how
me,
you
it's
can
so
hear it.
loud. Anyway, right. But it was like really loud before. All right. We'll try and figure out. My ADD
Can anyone listening even hear
Yes,
it?
they can all hear it. If you look in the chat, they can all hear it.
Finally, some people were starting to hear it.
Right.
But everybody,
no one could hear it until I left and came back in. And only I could hear it to begin with.
Maybe
And it was
it's
so
all
loud
in
I
your
couldn't
head.
even hear well, no shit. I thought this is the time. I thought this
Finally,
was the time,
Stash has gone
This is it. Finally.
insane. Halloween 2022.
This is it.
Shooter, when you watch this back, you're gonna see I'm all by myself on here.
Like
Both of you left.
Twice.
Speaking of the paranormal, my whole system just shut down.
Boom. Spooky fucking shit, dude. Happy Halloween.
Skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Every once in a while, that's going to happen tonight, folks, because it's Halloween. All right, so
All right, I gotta open my other
that's a
pages
long howl there.
Yeah, it is.
Woo.
Made a research your sound effects.
All
now I
right.
gotta
So
open
are we
all
done
my
talking about the
auxiliary
Kings
pages.
game? We lost that one.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I felt like there were periods of that game where they played really well. They just, it wasn't good enough all the way through. You know what I mean? And the Kings, I don't know, but it wasn't the worst start to the road trip, but you could tell it was definitely a road trip. And it's weird somehow sometimes where they play worse on the front half of a back-to-back than the second half of back-to-back. So that's the other thing. Is
The other good thing that came from that is Cooch's goal.
Right.
Cooch getting that goal,
Right.
I think really was a good thing. And then
Also,
one
open up
other,
the floodgates for Cooch, our winner for
And
goals, the goals challenge.
and one other
It's
thing
Stash.
that came out of the Kings game was Matt Orozco. I don't see him in here. Him and Scott Nightingale ended up meeting up at there. It was great to see several different.
Well, that was Anaheim.
I thought it
They
was
didn't
it
see each other
Anaheim?
until Anaheim. Yeah, they didn't realize. Roscoe didn't realize he was there. They saw each other. Like Matt saw him, and man, it's like we're breaking down gossip of the internet, social media right now. But yeah, like they saw each other or whatever, and then they finally met up in Anaheim, and then San Jose too. So, which by the way, props to a shout out to Nightingale, because I don't know why I never thought of that trip, and I think next year I'm going on that trip for sure.
I thought about it. I was going to
Like,
go.
yeah, I wish we would have talked about it. I wish we had talked about it a little bit more, because I definitely would have gone on that trip. And next year, I think I'm going to.
I'll
I
tell
have
you
my
no.
sights- my sights are set on Arizona now with that little dinky rink they got.
Yeah,
going
before they
on.
build a new one.
They gave out for their first game. Did you see what they gave out?
Jerseys.
No. Jerseys.
It looked like jerseys on the seats.
No, they gave out headbands that had hair on the back.
Like
A
mullets.
They gave a
because
mullet
it's mullet arena.
giveaway.
Yes, they gave a mullet headbands. That's amazing. I love it.
It was
That's
awesome.
amazing. That's amazing.
Scott
Yeah.
Scott will tell you not to go there. His whole trip was a nightmare. So
Well, where?
the West Coast trip, he hated it.
Oh, really?
Well, it's California. You probably sat in traffic half the time.
No, he had to step around homeless all the time.
Yeah. whatever.
That's any city.
Yeah.
And heard he wrecked the rental car.
Well, that doesn't make it a fun trip.
That's on him. No, that's on
okay.
him. No.
Well, we lost that first game to LA 4-2. I thought LA seemed like they were the better team that game.
Yeah. There were flashes. Yeah, like I said, there was flashes in that game from the Lightning that looked like they were playing a little bit better, but LA was definitely a better team that game. By the way, anyone in the chat, Sarah, I'm sorry we weren't paying attention to you real quick. The fucking music threw me completely off, and just trying to get back on track and get back on our game. I don't know what Rob's doing coming in with the creepy clown mask, but personally I'm disappointed because I was going to wear my Killer Clowns from Outer Space shirt underneath this, but sadly I wore it earlier this week and forgot to do laundry, which is why I'm actually wearing this. It has nothing to do with Halloween. This is just my laundry day outfit. So
are we supposed to be wearing clothes under this?
Well, I'm definitely not wearing any pants. I can't stand up. Let's just put it.
We don't
way.
Wear pants on this show.
That's true. We never wear pants. Isn't that the old game, the old talk show host thing? Just a suit and jacket on top, and then
news.
Just Porky Pigging it.
By the way, so after we go over these two games, we're going to play a game, and we will need the people in the chat to play, and you will have the opportunity to save your beloved Lightning players. So hang on for that, but we got 2 more games to break down. That's right.
Nice.
Playing Skate or Die.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
All right, so Anaheim next day. You got the Moose in there doing Moose-like things. Had some incredible saves again. The Moose is loose. He's been a good backup for us now for 2 years straight. You had some goals by Paul, Hagel, Kuch, Sergey. It was a good win for the Bolts. Got a little dicey there towards the end, but the Lightning pulled it off. Any comments on that game? I did miss the first half of that game playing in my own hockey game. If you guys want my stat line, I'll post it later.
I thought it was cool them going back to Perry and Maroon playing with Anaheim, and they were talking about those days, and they were talking about Perry winning the Rockwood Shard there, winning the Stanley Cup there, and a lot of memories those two had in that building for that team, for that franchise. So it's cool that they did that. They got the win. Moose looked good. I thought a couple of those goals weren't on him. But yeah,
bad turnover.
I thought he looked really good in that game.
Yeah. Again, more Hagel feeling great. And what I was thinking about, Perry's the only guy left active in the league from that 2007 championship team. That's what's crazy. And then it's only the second game he's played there since he left. So, people take for granted he's been, 3 other teams since then, but it's only the second time he's been in that building since he left that team. So that's always a great storyline. And then I felt like, that team, they started looking really good in that game. And Zegras, man, I gotta be honest, like I really feel a real old man kind of fish shake disdain for the kid, but at the same time, he's freaking good. He is good. He is good.
Well, you would have loved him last night if you were watching him with the dagger, the Maple Leafs hearts.
Absolutely. I was about to say, not only did he skate well and score against us, he had that 2-goal performance against the Maple Leafs, where they shat the bed on this West Coast trip. And the Lightning came out with more points than games, as basically all they talked about ad nauseum in the post game after the third game of this series, of how that's always the goal. And that's great to see. We're not the only team struggling at the gate. I mean, except for Boston, everyone else is basically right at 500, like 625 win percentage right now. So, and Lightning can now come out of this road trip, going to the next game against San Jose, winning 4 out of the last 5. So they're on a bit of a streak now. They're starting to feel it. They're starting to get on a roll. And you like to see that they're finding ways early on to get these points, you know, while they're filling themselves out. Yes, these teams aren't that great out there on the West Coast. The Kings are probably the best of the 3 teams, so I don't mind losing to them again out of those 3, you know, and to be able to see the depth start coming alive on this road trip is also very important, because it was basically Stamkos and everybody else. So we saw Hedman get a goal, we saw Kuch get a goal, we saw Hagel with a couple of goals. Paul had a goal, had 2 multi-point games on this road trip. So to see some of those depth guys come alive is very important, I think.
What I really took from this, let me answer this real quick from Mike Rotunda. There's actually been 2 home games. We had opening night, and then we had one other game. But what I took from the Anaheim game was we talked about it in other seasons that we had to see scoring from the blue line. The blue line factored in every single goal in Anaheim. You had Sergachev with an assist by Perbix. You had Kucherov with an assist by Hedman. You had Hagel with an assist by Sergachev. You had Paul with an assist by Hedman. The blue line, literally in every single game, if you look at even the LA game, I think Hetty had an assist in that one. When you go into the 3rd game with San Jose, we had, you had Hedman score. You had
Colton
Lauren with an assist by Chernak. So the blue line has been getting into it. When the blue line was what we were worried about at the beginning of the season, they actually look like they're starting to shape up. I saw a thing from Coop where they asked if he was going to drop down some of the D men, and he said not yet. It's too early right now. But Myers has been the odd man out, or Fleury's been the odd man out, and he's going to try to get Fleury some games. But I think this D has finally figured themselves out, and I think this team is starting to finally figure themselves out. I don't think he's messing with the lines too much anymore. I think, like Stash said earlier, first 2 lines are set. Will it change when Cirelli comes back? We don't know. I would hope not. I kind of hope that we keep those 2 lines together unless we start seeing a scoring drought. And then you start seeing Killer now getting into it. You can see Killer's starting to get his momentum, and this team is finally taking shape of the Tampa Bay Lightning that we know.
Yeah, a lot of it we look at the last couple of interviews over the weekend for sure, and a lot of what they talk about is the breakout, and a lot of that comes from the blue line and the guys in the defense understanding what they're doing with the puck in their own zone, how they're coming out of the zone. And one thing that I talked about week 1 or 2 weeks ago, and Ingblom brought this up, especially the last 2 games against Anaheim and San Jose, Brayden Point has started skating the puck down to the face-off dot, right? Not to the top of the circle. He's taking that extra 8 to 10 feet and getting down to the dot before he goes and looks to make a play with the puck. And that has changed the entire offense, especially that line. That's the game-winning 2 of the goals. The very first goal against San Jose. Thank you. Yes, I will take a cookie for being right about that.
Got a ghost on it. A cookie for you.
Yeah, right. Thank you. You're welcome. No, but that's the first goal with Hedman. It was because of that. He drove right down to the dot, and then Hedman was open on the cross side and right basically in the top slot, and boom, wide open shot. And then the same thing happened later for the game-winning goal. Whenever he drove down the opposite side, passes across to Hagel, and because they're going side to side, boom, Kuch is open, and no one's even looking at Kuch standing right there by himself in the paint with his stick on the ice. That's what happens when Brayden Point left. Yeah, dude, exactly. And that's exactly what happens when Brayden Point takes the puck on his stick and skates. And that's the one thing that they still have to work on, I think, a little bit on their breakout is skating with the puck through the neutral zone. I talked about it before, and I'll keep talking about it until they stop doing it. They keep trying to pass their way through the neutral zone, and that's when they get in trouble. That's what allowed Anaheim and San Jose to kind of keep it a little bit closer than it should have been, especially Anaheim. That's how Anaheim came back in that game for sure.
And the difference also,
turnovers.
The difference between the Kings and the next night in Anaheim was also in the Kings we went 11 and 7.
11-7, yeah.
And then went 12-6 in the next 2 games, and we've been 12-6 all other games this year. So and that was a nice little adjustment there by Coop going into the second game.
Yeah, I mean, he talked about it. He's been trying to get those guys on blue line rotation because we are going to need to know, and it's almost a good opportunity to get on a tangent with Bogosian out to see what you've got, because later in the season and in the playoffs, you're going to need that depth. You're going to need these guys to know what it is to play on this team, and kind of early on is fine. And I like the fact that he tried to do it. Then he's on the road trip. Okay, let's go 12-6, knowing that they've only had 3 home games so far to start out the month. Next month they only have 4 away games total, and they play 5 more games than they did this month. So they're going to have a lot of opportunity here at home to be able to let some of these guys on the blue line kind of get their chance. Fleury, Myers, maybe a little bit. The only problem is that it's not that like they have an easy schedule coming up. These first 3 home games are all, 2 of the 3 are divisional games, and all 3 are Eastern Conference. So these points kind of matter early in the season, and we're going to get a test against Ottawa for sure. And Carolina, they're one of the teams right now that isn't struggling to start the season.
And the good thing about having Moose in these 2 games now, we probably will not see him until the end of this month.
Right.
We don't have
no back-to-back.
Right. No more back-to-backs until the end.
You can't have a back-to-back at home. They all have to be back-to-backs on the road. You can't have home back-to-backs for some reson. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
We're in LA for 5 days, but for some reason, 2 of those games have to be back-to-back for some reason.
Yeah. We don't have a home back-to-back until December 28th, 29th. But yeah, so we won't see Moose probably again until November 28th, 29th, one of those Buffalo-Boston game. I would hope against Buffalo at this point right now, and then Vasi versus Boston, but Coop. So it was good getting Moose some work in early in the season. And we're gonna now lay into Vasi time and see where Vasi's going every other day. Just about, it's going to be a game for Vasi.
Great. Yeah. This month couldn't come at a better time for him, because I think he's finally starting. Like, he was a little shaky, we all know. Maybe even in the playoffs a little bit. Maybe he was a little tired, or maybe he had a little nagging injury or something that he wasn't able to focus fully 100% on his game. But I think he's really starting to already. We've seen in the last couple of games, he's played pretty well. I think the one goal he really just normally would have on the one glove side goal he got beat on from what was that, Carlson? No. It was a Carlson goal. And I was just like, but other than that, he's starting to really look like himself. He's getting that lateral movement. He made some amazing saves in both the Anaheim and San Jose game. And the San Jose game, late. And so I think he's definitely ready to go that every other day home routine. A lot of these guys are, I think. Cooper's even talking about, they haven't even unpacked for like the last month. Even when they come home, they don't even really unpack. They're still in the suitcase just because they're gone the next day. So it's going to be huge for these guys to come home, get in their family environment, not just their own family, but we talk about this team as a family because they all live so close together and they're so close to the rink, and it's such it's going to be good for these guys, I think.
What about the rising star who we talked a little bit about last week because we started to notice him, but I'll tell you what, Perbix has gone from in LA under 10 minutes a game to the last 2 games. He's been at over 17 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So in LA, that was because we had the extra D-man on that game. So
they're letting him play now.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna find out if this Perbix is for real.
Perb serves for the season, baby.
All right, let's go over the weekly challenge, since we just talked about all these games and what happened. By the way, if anyone wants to represent the Thunder in this week's challenge, we've got 3 questions for you. The first one to put in the chat, all play. You will be representing the Thunder. Last week, Steve represented the Thunder. He guessed Hagel for most goals in the week, and he was pretty darn close. Hagel had, Hagel had 2, but Cooch had 3, and Stash nailed not just Cooch, also nailed the number as well, so he gets 2 points on that one. What player had the most hits? It was actually a tie. Steve representing the Thunder had Nick Paul, and Eric Chernak, who was Schooley's pick. Both had 7 hits over those last 3 games, leading the team. So they both get points. And then finally, for the record, everybody except the Stash got it right. 2-1 is what the Bolts went. So that leaves our standing so far after just 2 weeks of doing this in this season. We've got Shooter, the Thunder, and Schooley all tied at 3, and the Stash just 1 behind with 2. It's going to be a tight race this season. Yeah. So
I was being a little optimistic on the road trip. I knew I probably was not going to get that right, looking for a tie. 2-1, but I was close. That LA game was a lot closer than the outcome. So
we do need someone to rep the Thunder for this week. So let us know if anyone wants to do that.
Mike. And by
the way, if you are looking for Bolts tickets, Bucks tickets, whatever kind of tickets you want, look right here. We have a code at SeatGeek.com, WTT Pod. That stands for We the Thunder Pod. So go check out SeatGeek for all your ticketing needs. Also want to thank Matt and Monkey Coffee Company. Have some updates from them coming hopefully pretty soon here, but go check out the website, check out the merch. And are you guys ready for a spooky game? A spooky little game?
I'm ready for the spooky music to end.
You're the only one that can hear it.
No, I can hear it.
Are you
Not
scared,
anymore.
Stash?
Not anymore.
Are you scared?
I'm not scared. I have like ADD, bro. OCD. I can't.
Real quick,
Listen. We all know I can barely string a thought together on the show as it is. Then you put this music behind me that I'm like, wow, that's a really weird trick. Is that Mixolydian? Is that a diminished seventh? Oh no, that's a dominant fifth. Like my music nerd comes out and I'm like, oh, that's not only spooky, but that's a really cool dissonant chord. So it's hard for me to focus on lightning talk whenever I've got cool music in the background.
So if you're watching us on Facebook live and you see it says give free stars, hit that button and give us the free stars.
Do it now.
Once we get so many stars, we're gonna do a huge get together. So
it's hosted by us, all expenses paid. Bash blowout.
Are you ready for?
We're ready. Let's do it.
Skate or die. That's right. In this thrilling Halloween special game, we will have to take care of our Bolts and lead them to safety because they are the victims or possibly victims in a Halloween horror. So to start us off, and by the way, here's how this is going to work.
Did we do something like this last year?
This is no. This is different.
Oh no. Okay, sorry. No, this reminds me of Jackbox. Okay, this reminds me of Jackbox game.
Essentially, a question for you guys to answer. You guys are all on one team, the team to save the Lightning players. So you have to come to a consensus answering the question. They're not easy questions. So you guys have to discuss together in the chat and then convince these two to agree on one of the answers. All right, first one here. We've got Michael Myers. It's Halloween night, and Nick Paul has hit Water Street dressed up as Gold member. True story.
Yeah.
As he hits a back alley behind the butcher shop, he notices the shine of a massive butcher's knife welded by the one and only Michael Myers. You need to answer this question to save Nick Paul. What team drafted Nick Paul? Was it the Senators, the Lightning, the Stars, or the Maple Leafs? Discuss amongst yourselves.
It's C.
I know we got him from Ottawa.
It's C. Dallas Stars. I know because of when I did day 20.
Well, there you go.
C,
this is why we have.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, okay.
Hold on. Do we have it correct? It's not the Tampa Bay Lightning. Is it the Toronto Maple Leafs? No.
I knew it wasn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Paul has been saved by you. All right. Nick Paul, still alive. Next on the list, we've got killer, hopefully not getting killed. Alex Killorn is jet skiing at Camp Crystal Lake and notices the lifeguard on duty is missing. He pulls back to the dock only to see Jason Voorhees waiting for him in his hockey goalie mask. You have to save Alex Killorn by answering this question. Who was not a guest on Doc Talk? Sergachev, Tyler Johnson, Ryan Callahan, or Kevin Kiermaier? Discuss amongst yourselves.
Callie, wasn't it?
This isn't even fun. If Scully is going to keep answering before the questions are even finished, it's not going to be fun for the rest of us.
Well, Kim also did.
Well, is it this one or last one? Because last one was also C. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Serena was Tyler.
I think it was also Tyler, also, as well.
Folks, we're going to need one answer, one final answer.
We'll go with you and Serena.
I'm going with Serena on this one.
All right,
B.
Tyler.
No, Johnson,
Save
final answer.
Alex Killorn. Who was it?
I hope
Tyler Johnson. If you remember Doc Talk, it was the running joke. Correct. Tyler Johnson. Hey, we'll get
never made it. It was exactly that was the whole. That's right. We did a whole
Callie was
on
there.
Yeah, we trolled the hell out of it.
All right,
yeah,
you guys are 2 for 2. Save 2 bolts. Hey, we might win some games this week. All right, we've got Freddie Krueger. Since losing the Stanley Cup to the Colorado Avalanche, Nikita Kucherov has been having horrible nightmares. Of course he has. After another multi-point game, he clutches to his tie bear, inside joke, and tries to stay awake as long as he can, but he closes his eyes to encounter good old Fred Krueger. To defeat Freddie, Cooch turns into a giant, angry version of his birth year's Chinese zodiac animal. What is Cooch's Chinese zodiac animal? A pig, a dog, a dragon, or the rooster? Discuss amongst yourselves.
Freddy's here again.
I watched Freddy 2 last night.
Coming for
not the best in the series.
No, 3 is the best. Johnny Depp. Anyways. Wait, okay. Kucherov shouldn't have nightmares. That's blah, 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 blah.
Looking for Cooch's Chinese zodiac sign. I'm only going to give you guys another 30 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
There's only cheaters out there.
It's about to die. Cooch about to die. I'm going to say the rooster.
Yeah, it's rooster. Dragon was just a couple years ago.
Rooster, final answer.
Rooster.
Going Alice in Chains here. Yeah, rooster. Yeah!
3. Cooch survives Freddy Krueger and stays awake. Or hopefully many more Stanley Cups. All right. After a pregame meal at the meat market in Tampa, Steven Stamkos runs into Leatherface in Hyde Park's parking garage. To escape, Steven must dig deep into his darkest fears and face them. What is Stamkos most afraid of? True story from an interview a couple years ago. Spiders, snakes, having to play for John Tortorella, or Mike Smith's home cooking?
Definitely Mike Smith's home cooking. I'm just kidding. Were they even on the same team together? Of course they were, but no. It's got to be snakes, right?
I'm waiting to see what some of the people say.
He's from Toronto. Chat. He's from Toronto. It's got to be snakes.
Spiders,
because they don't have snakes up there.
Forks, or Mike Smith's home cooking.
I feel like. Come on, chat. We're losing viewers by the second. Your game's not as compelling for them as it is for us. Yeah, right.
Let's go snakes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're about to lose the cap.
The captain.
Spiders.
Yeah.
Leatherface got him. It was spiders. He did actually answer in this interview Mike Smith's home cooking, and then said, no, really, it's spiders.
Oh, bullshit. Then we win. Then he's still alive because I did say Mike Smith's home cooking.
No, you guys have lost.
No, that's technicality. Technically, we still saved him.
All right. Victor Hedman. Hetty's baby boy's favorite toy has come to life. Chucky wants to turn the Swedish defender into Swedish fish. Besides his own soccer team, who is Hetty's favorite soccer club? Arsenal, Djurgården from Sweden, Man U, or FC Barcelona? Discuss amongst yourselves.
And it's got to be B, right?
You think so? B or D?
Djurgården or FC Barcelona?
mean, he feels like a hometown guy to me, right?
Yeah, I'd say the Garden.
Garden.
Final answer.
Oh wait, whoop. Uh-oh.
Sarah
He's
says
coming in with
B.
Arsenal.
You're gonna say Arsenal.
Uh-oh. Oh, Lynn Larson says B. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with B.
Going with the Swedish team. Is that the final answer?
Final
Yes.
answer, Swede.
But I think he fooled us because he made sure to tell us it was the Sweden team.
Well,
Or else you would have been like, "What is that? What is that Swedish word?" And guess what?
It's menu.
Manchester
Yeah,
United.
we're all
No,
wrong. We're all
you
wrong.
guys
Oh,
killed Hetty and Stamkos.
We've lost the franchise. We've lost
At least
the
the
franchise.
besties are together.
We've lost
All
the
right.
franchise.
You got
Eventually,
two more
it's gonna
left.
happen. It's like
Let's
premonitions
see if
of
we can
3
at
years
least
from
keep
now.
a line alive here. Jealous that Mikhail Sergachev dressed as a creepy clown one Halloween. I don't think it was last Halloween. One Halloween. The overly jealous Pennywise decided he wanted to eat Sergey, tempting him to jump into the sewer and play instead of watching his favorite TV show. What is Sergey's favorite TV show right now?
House of Dragon.
I was gonna say Yellowstone.
Discuss amongst yourselves. Using all those fake sound effects actually way better. I think it's House of Dragon.
What do you say? Final answer?
Go B.
House
go B or
of
go home.
Dragons is correct.
Yes.
Sergachev is staying alive. All right. We've got, I believe this is the last one here. Let's see if we can make it 5 alive and 2 deceased here. Vasti gets a phone call. Would you like to play a game? Says Ghostface. To survive, Vasti must answer this one question. And when I say Vasti, I mean you. What Lightning player did Vasti say is most grumpy in the morning from an interview in 2020, by the way?
Cooch.
Pat Maroon, Mikhail Sergachev, Nikita Kucherov, or
Cooch.
Bill Elliott?
Cooch.
Cooch? That was quick. Is that your final answer?
Yes. He's grumpy all the time.
Yeah.
You have saved your goaltender. That's right. It was Nikita Kucherov. Needs his morning coffee. So there you go. This is it. You have actually killed 2 Lightning players this evening.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, who was it? Hetty, deceased.
And Stammer.
And Stammer.
Stammer. Gone. Survived. You guys kept a line together, a line plus, I guess. So not that bad. Not a horrible job. There you go.
Yeah.
And that,
unless he's been drinking. If he's drinking, he's in great mood.
Probably still not in the morning. Still not in the morning of it.
Is skate or die. All right. Now what?
Upcoming.
The road ahead.
Yeah.
I got to look around the league, by the way. Can we look at the standings real quick?
Well, we're gonna do that next week. Don't get ahead of yourself. We gotta finish out the month here and then review the NHL.
Okay. I mean, we're already at the end of the month. There's no more games in October. There's no more games in October. I mean, there's 3 games on right now. Yes, there are some games on right now. But
Kane's just won.
Next week we
review. There you go. There you go. But
that way we're a month in.
I just want to say to everybody, calm down. That's all. Like nobody is running. Well, Boston is going to come down to earth. I promise you. They're 8-1. They're not going to stay with the 889 winning percentage. I promise you. And I don't think Buffalo is there yet, and Detroit definitely isn't there yet, and Montreal, well, they're Montreal. So, yeah, we're gonna look at the road ahead then.
Hold on, I got one more game. What color starburst am I getting here? What color?
Pink and orange.
Pink and orange. Thomas.
Red. Red and orange.
Fucking, there's no
Double
red in those.
pinks.
Oh, it's halfway there.
I like a pink and a red though. All right.
Me too. Well, that's the money shot.
Let's do the challenge. Or no, you're right. Let's do the let's look at the schedule. Actually, I'm gonna pull up the whole month here. Let's pull up the whole gosh darn month.
Whole month of November.
Real quick, did you see Bruce Boudreau got his 600th win this past week? And so that made me go and look at Coop, and he became the third fastest coach to do it. Coop has the ability to be able to smash the record for first in the least amount of games to win 600 games. It would have to take him, I think I figured 3.5 seasons. That includes this year. He's averaging about 50 wins a season. So that would take him, he's at 4 something. So Coop's got a very good chance of surpassing and becoming the fastest coach to ever win 600 games.
Yeah, I don't.
And no Jack Adams.
Yeah.
And no Jack Adams.
Still.
April
They
4th.
have been mentioning that on some of the national and even the away teams broadcasting. They've actually mentioned that quite a bit this season. He's getting the recognition at least.
I would have to say that if they come out and have any type of like not quite win the division, but like second or like top 3 in the East, he has to win it this year, right?
Well, he was my pick for the award for the Lightning this year
for all the turnover finally, because like we've talked about turnover in the last couple of seasons, but I mean we talked about it kind of start the season off on the show, but way more turnover than ever before and during his tenure. You know what I mean? And especially with guys that aren't coming from our pipeline is a thing that he didn't already know. Because that was the thing before with him is that, we kind of had some guys come up during his tenure. We lost some older veterans or whatever, but those were guys he'd already coached and already knew and already had a rapport with and knew how to plug them in. This is the first time he's really had to bring in new guys that he's not 100% familiar with, plug them into his system, get them to buy in and trust, process over outcome, and buy into that mantra. And if he can do it this season, I think that's finally the Yankee Doodle feather in his cap. Call it macaroni. Here's a Jack Adams, finally for you. Because that I think would maybe be, not only have they had a lot of talent, that's also the other thing about him he's benefited from is that the guys coming from the AHL, a lot of them he already knew. So this would be that unique season where he's had to really had to use all of his skills to make this team successful.
And
still not going to win it.
And the other thing is Andre Palat getting put on IR.
Oh, and Johnson as well.
Yep.
Johnson has an ankle injury.
What was Palat's injury?
They haven't
lower body. Undisclosed lower body injury. Yeah. Tyler Johnson specifically has an ankle injury, they've said, which sucks because he had like 6 points in the first 8 games or something. He came out on a tear. And obviously Palat as well was scoring goals and doing well for New Jersey. So
3 goals, but I think it's an ACL for Palat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it could be.
That sucks.
Yeah. So
all right. Well, what about this team? And pay attention to this first week here, because we'll be back next Monday to talk about these games. All at home, Ottawa, Carolina, and Buffalo. And pay attention because one of you in the chat is going to represent the Thunder, and we're going to answer some questions for the challenge before we head out. So Ottawa, Carolina, Buffalo. We got
returning Matthew Joseph.
Yep,
that's true. Well, that Ottawa team's interesting because they're kind of a whole different team with some of the guys they've got now compared to last year.
Yes.
Carolina is they've got some turnover on their roster too, but they replaced the talent that left with some better guys, to be honest with you. So that'll be the toughest game I think this week. Yep. And Buffalo's playing really well. Dahlin, guys, finally coming into his own. Hopefully they'll get him some help up there, but so far they haven't needed too much help. They're right up there with us in the standings. And then, as you see, a lot of home games on the schedule this month. So hopefully we'll be at Amalie Arena a lot.
Yep. Yeah, I like this week coming home. It's, I think, a good test for this team. the teams that they're gonna see. It's gonna be nice to see. Like Ottawa, like we said, it's a different team. They're coming in. They're playing pretty well. They're right there in the mix of it with us, and we got another Kachuk, which it seems like we can't get away from the damn Kachucks right now. But yeah, Matthew Joseph, as Scully said, will be coming back home, and I think that's a good matchup to start off this homestand. Carolina is the team you mentioned is the team I'm worried about. Buffalo, great Rasmus Dahlin. You said he set the record, first goalie in the history of the NHL to score 3 goals to start a season. We talked about that, I think, last show or something like that. So that team, I think, is, like I said, going to be in the middle of the pack. They're still not there yet. With that, Carolina, if we could come out and start skating early on, and like I said, possess the puck and start trying to pass it through the zone and have a good breakout, I think that could be kind of the matchup that turns the tide, I think, this month and really sets the tone. Because after that, we got Edmonton and the Caps back to back on away in a home game for that in the following week. So I'd like to see them set a tone against Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina, they're going to have to. I think Ottawa's, I don't think they look past it, but I don't think they're really going to. I think their big test will be against Carolina. Buffalo, they no matter how shitty Buffalo is, they always play Tampa big. There's always lots of fights. There's always full penalty boxes when it comes to a Buffalo game. But I still, I see a 2-1 going here, losing to Carolina. But I think they're going to measure themselves on that Carolina game.
Yeah, that's the tough one this week. I think Ottawa's going to be a tough game too. Buffalo's the must win, but Buffalo's been playing well as well. I'm glad you mentioned that about the fights, because guess what? One of our questions is this week: what player is going to get the most fighting minutes for the Lightning? All right, so we do need someone from the chat. By the way, just to recap again, last week, Stash had 2 points. Schooley had 2 points. The Thunder, represented by Steve, had 2 points, and I only had 1 point. But three-way tie at the top. It's a marathon. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, all right, that's what I said last week. That's what I was saying last week. So, wow, how the tides have turned.
Yes, they have. All right, this week's going to be interesting. So we need someone in the chat to play along. The first category that we're going to do is Vasi saves. Only Vasi saves, because we're expecting Vasi to play in 3 games this week. Who knows? They might stick Elliott in there for one of these games. But I think we all think that Vasi is going to play all 3 games. Either way, somebody needs to guess how many saves he's going to have in whatever number of games he plays. So this is a tough one. So closest one wins.
Oh, man.
And again, need someone from the chat to give us an answer, and we'll start with me, because I lost last week. I'm going to go with 88. Imagine that.
88
saves.
88.
Serena's going to play for the.
Serena gets it.
Serena's the first one to answer.
First.
Yep.
Yeah, so Serena's saying 91, a couple more than my 88. Stash
Okay.
and Schooley, how many saves is Mr. Vasilos going to have? It's a lot of mathematics going on right now. I can tell. We'll play your song. I think it just came to you, didn't it?
Phrasing. I'm going to have to say 97.
97.
No. Is it the closest without going over?
You can't say 1. This is not
Price
Price is Right.
Writing it. Am I Price is writing it and doing it?
No, this isn't Let's Make It. First of all, this would never be a Price is Right. You're wearing bacon. This would be Let's Make a Deal. We ain't Wayne Brady. And no, you can't come in with a $1 bid.
I'm going to go 98.
Oh, you mother.
Okay. I like that.
Is that closest without going over?
No.
It's closest to
it. Period.
So there you go. I have the low with 88. You've got the Thunder represented by Serena with 91. You got the Stash at
About
97.
to out you for what you do whenever you
98.
lean off camera.
All right. As I mentioned, most fights is the other one. This is probably going to be a tie because
I'm gonna go first.
Pat Maroon.
I can only imagine so many fights.
Pat Maroon.
Maroon. Yeah.
Maroon. I said it first. I said it first. I'm giving Stash Maroon since you sniped that 98.
I'll say Sergachev then.
You're going Sergachev, Serena.
Please.
We're waiting for you.
It might as well be a Kachuk.
I'm gonna go. Shoot, who's gonna fight?
I know.
I guess Perry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Perry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Serena got
Perry.
Perry.
Serena.
Yeah.
I think she had it before me.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm mad that I said Maroon.
What's that leave me with? I guess I'm gonna go Foot.
I would say Paul, but okay. Something to me makes me feel like Paul's gonna get into a fight real soon.
Do you want to take him instead of Maroon?
No. I gotta no. Fuck no.
Switch from the ball. I'll take Maroon.
No, I'm taking the horse. Stop it. I'm taking the horse.
All right, record this week. I'm riding with the 2-1 again.
Me too.
I got
2-0-1 right there for you.
Well,
Serena, what's your projection for the 3 games?
3 games. Schooley and I are going 2-1. They've gone 2-1 the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
Can they get over the hurdle and win all 3?
I'm gonna go 3-0. I'm gonna do it.
3-0.
Yeah.
And Serena's going to take the
2-0-1. I like it.
And 1. I was tempted to take
2-0-1. Yeah, but I feel like it's a good matchup for us versus Carolina. As hot as they feel, they're not really as hot as they think, and as it seems. Like, it's weird. They seem like they're really hot, but they're not that hot. And I think that the Lightning, 3 home games, I think we could see a 3-0 here. I like Aaron's with me. Me and you, Aaron, we're riding 3-0. I like it.
All right.
Hey, you know what? It's early right now. You know what we could do? We could really open this up, and this could really get people to commit to watching the show. Is that you don't have to speak for the whole Thunder. We could start taking individual people's scores. You know what I mean? It's an 82-game season. So
yeah,
we could
you go ahead and do that.
No, I'm saying, though, we could do the fan, score. You know?
Let me put my gloves on for that.
Oh, you don't want to do it? Is that too much production for you?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. If you want to talk about it, I think I'd be willing to get my old baseball scoring blood into it,
and you'll regret it instantly. You will regret it instantly.
Yeah, okay, because all 12 of our viewers would be so hard to maintain.
See, this is where you don't really think about how, like, I have to go game by game to get those stats. There's no, like, how do I just get the last 3 games? So if we have people picking 10 different players or 15 different players, that's not a commitment I want to make.
Hey.
So the show's called We the Thunder. One person represents the Thunder. And guess what? The Thunder's tied for first. So
they're good enough.
AHL report real quick. Syracuse 1-3-1-2 with 5 points. But AHL leaders with points. Alex Beret-Boulet is
here we go again. Here we go again. Let's bring them up.
Still leading in points. For goals, we have Felix Roberts, who's second in the league. Assist number 1, Alex Beret-Boulet. So
I'd bring him up. Like, honestly, I'd bring him up. Let's end this experience for once and for all. It's not.
No, I think he's a Corey Conacher type guy.
No, I was gonna say I think he's almost more like a Condra, like a fucking EC22 man. You know, I loved Condra. I thought he had opportunity to crack this lineup, and he never could. But he tore it up when he played for Syracuse during his time here. So yeah, I think he's that kind of guy. Like, maybe in another club. I mean, we've seen Adam Ernie is getting some points. We saw Taylor Radish as well for Chicago. Both of those guys are playing well. So yeah, it's just a matter of if he's got room elsewhere to shine. I think he could probably be an NHL guy. I just don't know about this roster. There's just so much talent here, you know. Even with the departures of some of the guys, there's still a bit of a logjam of trying to figure out who, not just the lines, but like who's going to stay up here. Obviously, he didn't make it out of camp again. You know, we saw Kopke come in and take that spot. And to me, he kind of came out of nowhere this year, right? Like we all thought it was going to be ABB that came in, and really Kopke's the guy that took that role from him, right?
Yeah, but he hasn't really done that much.
Yeah, I didn't think ABB got the shot this year. I think they were done with that experiment last year. I didn't expect it to be Kopke, but that's a nice little surprise there. This Felix Robert, literally in 7 games, he's gotten 6 goals, 4 assists. Last year in 63 games at Wilkes-Barre Scranton, he got 63 games played and he had 16 goals. So he's already a third of what he got all of last year. So I look forward to seeing some more of this kid.
I love, something we don't talk about enough on this show. It's ironic that Serena says ain't nobody got time for that when it comes to AHL, but she knows that Bobby's been hot somehow at the same time. Funny.
No, I don't think she was talking about the AHL there.
No, she was talking about Roberts, I thought. No, all right. But anyways, now you threw me off. I love the fact that it's almost like a troll that our affiliates are like Syracuse and Scranton. You know what I mean? Like, I love that the Tampa team's affiliates are in New York and Philly. I love that. That's just something we don't talk about enough.
It's true. And didn't they re-sign with Syracuse?
With Syracuse, yeah. We talked about it last week a little bit. It's another 10 years? 10 years?
That's cool.
6.
I'd like to go up there to go do a game sometime.
Yeah, one of my good buddies, a good buddy of mine from back in the day, in the Dagwoods days, back when I lived in West Chase, lives up there now, and he goes to a lot of the Syracuse games. So he's invited me to go make a trip, and whenever the Lightning are up there, and then also go see a Syracuse game at the same time.
My friend Kim, she did the Buffalo, Syracuse, Toronto, and Hall of Fame, and then there's a women's hockey team that was up there in Buffalo that she did all those, and that was really cool. I got the chance 3 seasons ago to go to Carolina, and it just so happened the Syracuse was playing the Checkers in Carolina that night before the game. So we got to watch them play the Checkers, and then the next day the Lightning play against Carolina. It was cool.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like a great trip.
All right. Before we get out of here, I got one more thing to tell you guys.
Uh-oh.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Oh gosh, keep happening.
That's it.
All right, Eli. She's talking to me. She's talking to me. Keep pounding.
No. Here's the funny thing to keep pounding. So we stayed. Me, Serena, her husband, and a couple other people all stayed in an Airbnb together in Carolina.
Can we play the rest of the story?
The Wi-Fi password was keep pounding. And we were like, what? we were Serena didn't want to sleep in the bed anymore because she just wanted then
this is why I travel with black lights from now on.
Isn't that the Panthers like?
It ended up being the Panthers motto that year, but we didn't know that, and so literally we're looking at the Wi-Fi password and it says "keep pounding," and we're like, "What the fuck?" So now we're all going to Dallas come February 11th. For anybody else that wants to go to Dallas, it's pretty cheap out of here, and the tickets are kind of cheap. February 11th, they're in Dallas. Me, Serena, I think Serena, Adrian, Scott Nightingale's going, Kevin Williams going. So
that goes to all the away games.
One out of 3 ain't bad, I guess, for people.
Yeah.
That includes you, and you're not the one, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, there she is. That's the one. That's the one person. I'm like, yes, I'm traveling with you. That's the rest of you. Shit.
So yeah, we're gonna go check out the Dallas game in February.
We're gonna lose Adrian in Dallas, everybody. I'm telling you right now.
Already gone.
He's already lost. In some alternate universe, he's already lost in Dallas.
I got to go eat some candy. Let's do this again next week, shall we?
Well, shall we? Shall we do this again next
without
week?
Costumes, without the speaking
let's
music?
Not do this again.
I'm wearing a costume.
20 minutes to try to figure out where the music's coming from.
Let's not have the least viewers in, I don't know, a 2-year span next week.
Wait until our Thanksgiving episode, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're not even going to go there. We're not even going to go there, actually.
You already did. It's too late. It's too late.
All right.
I don't know where you're down for, Aaron, but you're booked.
We'll be back next Monday. Same bat place, same bat time. Hopefully,
channel.
After a 3-0 win, go follow Thunderbolts. Go follow Shooter in the Stash. Hey, by the way, if you're watching on Facebook right now, make sure you follow our page.
Give us some stars.
Not many of you do, and yeah, pass along those free stars. I think today's the last day, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
The pumpkin.
That's
Any
it.
questions?